precisely because of the failure of the official government-led human spaceflight programs, as well as new launch vehicle development programs to accomplish much. Um, Nature pours a vacuum, and a new force has moved in, and that is the entrepreneurial space companies. Of course, exemplified most forcefully by SpaceX, um, which has now proven that it is possible for a relatively small, well-led entrepreneurial team to do things that were previously thought that only the governments of superpowers could do. And not only that, do them in 1/3 the time at 1/10 the cost, and even do things they had deemed impossible altogether. And uh, as a result, you not only have this extremely impressive SpaceX capabilities rapidly developing, but they have set off an entrepreneurial space race. And you have, and not just among fellow billionaires like Musk and Bezos and Richard Branson, but working engineers like the Rocket Lab team, which is based in New Zealand. These are middle-class people who've nevertheless mobilized hundreds of millions in investment, and they've reached orbit. New Zealand has reached orbit, even though New Zealand doesn't have a space program. Okay, and so this is the power of free enterprise let loose, and I think we're going to see a lot more of this. I'm sure we're going to see a Chinese equivalent to SpaceX. I know there are people there trying and who've gotten some substantial investment. They're on the move, and maybe in many other countries. So this is going to cheapen the cost of space launch a lot. It already has. In the past 10 years, SpaceX has caused a drop in the price of delivery to orbit by a factor of 5, which is after it had been flat for the previous 40 years. And if Starship is successful, their current launch vehicle, it'll drop it by another factor 3. So we've gone from $10,000 a kilogram to $2,000 a kilogram, and we're looking at, within a few years, $700 a kilogram.
Yeah.
And that's going to change a lot of things.
I mean, do you think this competition is key to kind of speeding up space exploration? So in the same way that competition between the USA and the USSR was kind of the engine behind the original space race, do you think that the competition between US, China, other countries, and potentially even private enterprise will kind of be the engine behind the next round?
Well, in the 60s, of course, we had extremely hard-driven competition between the United States and the Soviets, and that unquestionably was a major force in driving the progress of the space program. And in a way, when in the 80s or 90s, when the space programs agreed to collaborate on the space station instead of competing to see who could build the best space station, it really took a lot of the energy out of the program. Be as if in the Olympics people had decided, look, why don't we just decide right now who's going to win the high jump, who's going to win the pole vaulting? You can have the long distance, we'll have the short distance. That would really, take the fun out of it and the drive out of it. And I think that, by the way, an Olympic spirited space race is a good thing. I think even in the 60s, it was the most healthy part of the superpower competition. And, I was actually in Leningrad when we landed on the moon. And because I was a little chess master, and and all the Russians I knew, which were ordinary people, not people in government.
Yeah.
Okay, they were chess players, but still, just regular people. Молодец. They thought it was great. We had excelled at a sport that they could appreciate, and it certainly sent a very positive message about America. Now, in terms of the current age, there are two different forces driving competition in space, and one is free enterprise space race, and that's the healthy one. And that's a really good thing, and I think it's going to make it possible to have humans on Mars before this decade is out, actually. Okay. Now, the other is, it's not good, but it's there, and it's undeniable, and it's going to play a role, which is military space.
Yeah.
Um, okay, now, uh, and when I say it's not good, um, what's not good is that there is military competition, and you know, uh, in general, the fact that this military competition has moved into space as such, I do not regard as an evil. I mean, if you're going to have a war, I can't think of any better place to have it than outer space. But the but 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 I prefer not to have a war.
Yeah.
Now,